What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at LEGO Voyagers. Now, obviously, this is not the type of game you would typically expect to see on my channel, but as I get older as a gamer, of course, I'm looking for more opportunities to play alongside my kids as they begin to grow up. So, for reference, my kid is 4. He's going to be going on 5 soon, so he's like right at that cusp of, really kind of getting into video games. I think I started gaming right when I was around 5 or 6. And, as opposed to just like throwing him on Minecraft or Roblox and letting him fend for himself, I figured it would be more fun to kind of curate his experiences and pick games that I thought would be really good for his age group. And so far, this has been a fantastic choice in that regard. And so, as opposed to a more typical review, I wanted to approach this video not just as a gamer, but from the perspective of a parent with young kids that is looking for games that would be good to experience alongside their kids. And in that regard, I think the game is definitely hitting all the marks. But so let's talk about it a little bit. So talking about the gameplay, this is a cooperative puzzle-solving adventure. It's nonverbal, so you just have the little funny noises that the bricks make. There's like some chill ambient music going on, but it's a lot more about kind of solving the puzzle and the discovery and going through the process. And I will say that at his age, I think it's a little bit challenging at times because there is some fine motor control required in terms of like jumping and clicking onto blocks. And so, there's certain parts where I'm like, look, just press your button once and then walk forward. Or, in cases like this next puzzle, he straight up was just like, Daddy, I can't do this. Take the controller. Because, you have to like jump and time it and then jump. And, I get it. That's hard. He's not even 5 yet. He's, just learning to like draw his letters and his numbers with precision and whatnot. And so fine motor control is definitely more of a challenge at that age. But I think by the time we're through this game, he'll probably actually be better at it, which would be cool. But so talking more about the gameplay and the puzzle solving, here's something I really like. If your kid's moving slow, you just click onto him and drag him along. I love that. But so like this is, I guess, the equivalent of like the second level in the game. And so the idea here is we're going to end up taking this boat, and then we're going to have to go around and pick up various Lego pieces to then build an extension to the ramp that's at the front of the boat to then get on top of a sluice gate so that we can then pass through, and then we got to get these little power modules to then open up like a gate at the end and proceed. And there's a bit of an overarching story with a spaceship. The game kind of taps into like the origins of space discovery and whatnot. Obviously not lore-wise, but like that's kind of the vibe the game is trying to elicit. So you just go on an adventure as these 2 little Lego blocks trying to build a spaceship, which is pretty cool. But the gameplay has a lot of stuff involving puzzles. So as I mentioned, like here, the main thing is we're trying to navigate this ship together. And if you've never played a game alongside a 4-year-old, you can imagine how difficult that can get. You're like, okay, let's slow off the throttle a little bit. Okay, nope, too much off the throttle. We gotta go back. We gotta get back. And so it'll definitely test your patience a little bit, but I think it's a cute and chill enough game that you're not really that worried about it. And I think one of the big things I really like about this is like if your little Lego brick falls off the platform, like if I fall into the water or I fall off a cliff or whatever, or if he does, there's no penalty. You're immediately reappearing right back on. In like a second, I grab this block and he moves the boat away. I just respawn on the platform with the block. There's nothing lost. And I think that's definitely needed for a game like this, especially when you're trying to teach your kid more about gaming and, they're at that early stage of learning still. I think it's hard to find games that really fit that niche where like it's not so simple that it's brain dead to them, but it's not so challenging that they're just going to get frustrated and not want to play it. And I think this has been a game that's like it dances along that careful line where there's going to be moments certainly where I'm going to have to help him out with platforming or whatnot, but seeing him try to figure out how we're supposed to solve the puzzles, and anytime we approach a puzzle in this game, he's like, oh, I think we gotta do this, and I'm like, okay, well, if we, I'm letting him tell me how he wants me to put the bridges together and whatnot, and there's just something about that experience that's really cool. You're getting to, watch their little brains just develop in real time as they're trying to problem solve and puzzle solve and come up with solutions to the issues that are faced. And You know, there's a little bit of, like, I'd say for the most part, the game is fairly linear. There's a couple portions where, like, you'll go somewhere and it's like, oh, you can go to the left or you can go to the right, but, you know, both paths are going to lead you where you want to go. But, you know, obviously this isn't meant to be like an open world giant adventure, so I don't really expect anything of that caliber here. One of the things I really want to call out, though, I think, is the world design here. And as I mentioned back towards the start of the video, so this is like a non-verbal game. You know, there's no real voice acting or dialogue outside of the little, like, yips and bips that our little Lego people make. The music itself, there's a lot of ambient music that's like really, really good. It's calming, it's soothing, it kind of fits with the vibe well. But so the world design and the story here are basically you're just these little Legos, and like you see a rocket go up, and then you end up going off on an adventure because the rocket opens up a path off your little island, and then you start finding pieces of the rocket, and you're trying to like put it back together and launch this rocket. And I think that really elicits like a feeling of kind of just grandeur and discovery. You know, like growing up, I remember I thought space and planes were the coolest things growing up. I wanted to know everything I could about rockets, and that, you know, that feeling of like, you know, how does this work, and you know, blast off and putting it together and discovery, all that stuff. I feel like this game does a really good job of kind of capturing that sense of wonder that you had when you're a kid. And it's definitely been, I think, a very rich experience getting to kind of see him just discover that stuff in real time. Like figuring out like, oh, okay, we gotta, you know, just the various, not just the puzzle solving, but like, you know, he's like, oh, we're gonna build a rocket, and I'm like, that's right. He's like, where's the rocket gonna go? And I'm like, well, we're gonna go up. He's like, we're going into space, and like, you know, just the questions and the excitement in his voice. And you know, I think there's, I don't know, man, especially as a parent, there's something sacred about those kind of moments, you know. And so, and anyway, I'm getting a little hung up on it, but point being that the way they approach the world design and the story here, it's very focused on discovery, and it leaves a lot to the imagination of your kid. And I think that makes it a really special experience, especially getting to play it alongside them and getting to witness it in real time. In terms of like total duration of the game, to be completely honest with y'all, we're still very, very early into the game. We're only about 5 hours in. And typically when we play, we'll go for about an hour at a time. You know, I don't want to just be like, all right, sit down, kid. We're doing a 5-hour live stream of LEGO Voyagers. You know, I don't think anyone wants to do that with their kid. Not only would that be pretty intense as a parent to just one-on-one game with a toddler for that long, but obviously, you know, I don't want to just shove them in front of a screen. So we're playing it in little bursts and slowly working through it. But from what we have experienced so far, it has been a really charming experience. And this is coming in priced at like $25. It's on pretty much every major platform. So you know, whether you're looking at getting this on something like the Switch or on PC. Right now we've been playing on PC, and I'm just streaming it over to my TV, so we're just kind of sitting on the couch together and playing through it. It's been a really good time. But one thing that's nice is at launch, this is one of those games where only a single copy is going to be needed. So maybe it's like you got a young nephew or someone, and you think the game would be fun to play. Something you could pick up and then be like, hey, you give them that little friend pass thing, and then you're getting to play alongside of them. Obviously, not as much of a value if you're playing with your own kids, unless maybe you're separated for some reason and you're looking for a reason to still be able to bond with your kids when you're not in the immediate vicinity of them. I think it does make a lot of sense for that. But either way, very, very charming game regardless. Talking just a little bit about the difficulty of puzzles and challenges you might face playing alongside your kid. I think the biggest thing is kind of what I already touched on. That's just going to be fine motor control. And this is definitely something that I think he's going to get better with the more we play. But I mean, there's definitely sections where I had to just outright, like, you know, he would just give me the controller and be like, I can't do this part, I need you to do it. And then I would like show him exactly what inputs I was pressing and how to go about it. But you know, that's part of the journey you're going through, and you're trying to teach someone that's never used a controller before, how to like quickly hit buttons and then time the direction they're pressing the joystick along with the buttons. And it's interesting, you know, because I mean, I grew up gaming as long as I can remember, and I mean, God, even going back, I remember, you know, when the N64 first came out, and you were like, oh my God, like I'm running, like I remember playing Super Mario 64, and it was, you know, it was one of the first games we were in like a full 3D polygon world, and I was like, this is wild. I thought it was the craziest thing ever. And you know, you don't even really think about like that adaptation you had over time, like going from that to where, you know, like joysticks now are just, it's second nature. You know, you don't think about it. It's like the same as breathing. But getting to see, you know, this little human slowly figure out these things and how they work, and it's been interesting for sure. So before we close out, anyone else that's in the same category as me, where you have young kids and you're looking for games, I do have a couple others that I think are good recommendations I'll toss into this video, because obviously I don't do a lot of content like this. But if your kid is particularly young, there's a game on Steam I'd highly recommend checking out called King Boo. It's just this goofy little ghost game. It's like $5, and your kid basically just like solves puzzles. They got to get all the pieces and get the ghost to the throne. And I think I had him doing it when he was like 3 going on 4. And he thought it was the coolest thing. He was just like, Daddy, the ghost is happy. It's a happy ghost. And I was like, that's right. It's a happy ghost. But I mean, I'll never forget how excited he was about that happy ghost. So that's probably one of the most basics. Very, very good for a young age. If your kid's already like 6 or 7, they're probably way past it. So keep that in mind. I've had a lot of fun playing Midnight Walk with him. I know that's like it's like a clay animation horror game. It came out, I didn't end up covering it on the channel because, you know, similar to this, it's an experience I've been having alongside my kid. And that one's a little more intense. I think the puzzle solving is definitely going to require an adult more. Like you're going to have to play it alongside of him and probably control for the majority of it, but there's definitely sections I can let him just take the controller and do his thing. And it's definitely a really interesting story to watch, especially if your kid likes spooky stuff. Like my kid is really big into stuff like The Nightmare Before Christmas or some movie he's been really stuck on lately. It's a Frankenweenie, I think. It's like this kid. It's like kid Dr. Frankenstein like raises his dog back up or something. I don't know. But so he likes that animation style, and Midnight Walk falls right into that bucket. And I think that's been a pretty charming one if you're okay with your kid experiencing some stuff that's a little bit spooky. And another one I'd like to call out is actually Monster Hunter Stories. I booted up the first Stories, and you know, you're running around and you're fighting stuff until you get to the end of the game. I think Stories is a pretty casual experience for the most part, and he's actually been loving that, just running around and fighting and doing the specials alongside his monster. I recently got him on my old 3DS, and I've had him messing around with some of the older Pokemon games, but I think that is a little bit heavier on inventory management. I mean, and there's a little bit of that in Stories too, but like I would let him play Pokemon, and I'd you know, come back an hour later and he's out of Pokeballs and he's caught like 10 Pikachus. And I'm like, okay, let's get you some Pokeballs, let's get you some potions because half your team is dead, and we're gonna set you up. But so, you know, it's I don't know, I think from the co-op perspective though, I think this has definitely hit the mark, and it's been just a really charming experience to play alongside of them. So, yeah, either way, if you're interested, LEGO Voyagers, I think this comes out today. I mean, I don't know, this is the embargo, so I'm assuming it also comes out today. But regardless, we're going to wrap this one up here. I'm going to let this video go like till the end, just so y'all can get a better look at the challenges, you know, figure out if it's something you want to play alongside your kids the way I am. But definitely a really fun co-op experience. So either way, I'm going to wrap things up here, let y'all just enjoy the goofiness of the co-op, and yeah, see you soon.
La. Da. Wow.